Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Bro, I ain't gonna lie. What the fuck? That just irritates. Alright. How y'all doing? So, I know I've been gone. I uploaded a video and dipped on y'all ass. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm finna be a lot more consistent. I had an epiphany. I've been watching. And I can come up with 1,000 different excuses. Oh, I was doing this. Oh, I didn't feel like. Oh, and this, that, and the third. Oh, I could do all of that. I could do all of that. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna give y'all all those excuses and talk about all those distractions. All those distractions and this, that, and the third. But what I am gonna do is talk to you about one excuse that I have. You know, time is an interesting thing, right? Because you'll be in a moment so much, time will just pass you by, literally. I'm sitting here. I've been started recording this video at like 5, nigga. It's 6:50. Like, what the hell, nigga? You just now starting? Like, what the hell? Anyways, I've been trying to wrap my mind around time for years, and it's like you have stuff like I just said, you sitting here in the moment, time will just fly by. You ever been in school and throughout the whole day, especially like first couple periods, it drags. Like, you feel like you in there all fucking day. Like, damn. Then when you get to lunch, you happy. You like, oh, I'm finna eat, finna talk to my friends, da 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 da. Yo, I put the fork in the food. You like, damn, I just got out of line. Shit. So, you go to class. Class started, you getting your easy classes, you know, it's starting to fly by a little bit. It's still dragging, but it's starting to, it's starting to go a little quicker. Then recess happened. Ooh. Nigga, recess come through, you like, oh, I'm finna do this, I'm finna do that, I'm finna run, I'm finna jump, nigga, I'm finna, wait, you finna cross up. Woo! Nigga, your ass step on the grass. Damn! I couldn't get me a drink of water right quick. I just got out here. That's how I feel, bro. Time is interesting because we measure it. 60 seconds is a minute, 60 minutes is an hour, 24 hours is a day, 30 days, 30, 28, 30, or 31 days are a month. We're gonna get into that later. But, 365 days, all that, right? But it never feels equal. Like, sometimes it feel like you got your time robbed from you, especially you go to sleep. Now, don't get me wrong, sleep is so beautiful. I love sleep, but I ain't gonna lie. A part of me likes the part that sleep is like a time skip. Like, you just jump from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. in the split second shit. Like, that's cool. But sometimes I want to enjoy his sleep. I want to get in the covers and, sometimes I want to enjoy my sleep. But all time isn't created equal. Some people use their times in different ways. Like, some people work overnight. So that means while we're up right here, right now, vibing and shit, they ass is asleep, trying to get the last few Z's before they gotta wake up and go to work. And same vice versa. In a few hours, I'm finna be trying to get the last few Z's before I gotta go to work. Oh, it's Good Friday. I don't gotta go to work. 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 Anyway, so it got me thinking, like, what? So what is this? What? Who? When? Where? How? When? Like, what is time? Did some research. Did some studying. Did some self-analysis. You know, self-analysis. And I realized. So, park right there. You believe in a God or a creator or an all-knowing, all-seeing being, right? That created all of this, right? No matter if you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Buddhist, anything, right? Non-religious, anything, right? I'm sure most of us believe that it's something behind all of this, right? If you believe that so-called creator is omnipotent, knows everything, could be everywhere, anywhere at once, this, that, and the third, who's to say that omnipotent being is not present in the future and the past? Because you gotta think about it. Omnipotent literally means you can do anything. Like, you have the ability to do anything. Like, there's no limit. So if you think about how there's no limit, then there's no limit to time, right? Right. So they got me thinking, so if this all-knowing, all-seeing, because how are you going to be all-knowing, all-seeing if you don't know it already happened, know what's happening at the moment, and know what's finna happen? You know? So, it got me thinking, so, does that mean time technically is happening all at once? Past and the future are just concepts that humans perceive and came up with. I'm not saying that time doesn't move linear, but at the same time, I'm saying it doesn't move linear. Because there's no way for us in our human brain to really wrap around and conceptualize time being happening all at once. That's why it doesn't happen all at once for us. That's why it goes second by second, minute by minute, day by day, right? So if you believe in a God, I feel like you also believe in other entities, whether they're angels, spirits, aliens, whatever you want to call it. There are higher beings than us. Like, they're some type of shit, right? Now, granted, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, which if you haven't already picked up on it, I'm just gonna say it. If you're an atheist, if you don't believe in anything spiritual or supernatural, everything is science, this video is not for you. So, I mean, hey, this is a spiritual video. This is strictly spirit. Like, we operate in the spirit right now. And if you knew any better, spirit and science go hand in hand. All science is explaining the spirit. And I'm also going to get into that later when I talk about quantum physics. Anyway, so if time is a concept that us humans, we perceive it in a certain way, how do other beings that are higher than us perceive time, How do they? How y'all doing? You know, I don't know how to shuffle like this. I'm trying to be cool for the camera. The energy is gaining momentum. Let's talk about dimensions, right?
You what?
Let's start getting into some real deep cosmic shit, right? So, I'm about to prove to you that time does not move in a linear path. It does not. So, let's start with the first dimension. One dimension. Now, what is one dimension? Straight line. Straight line. That's all it is. It's going back and forth. This is all one dimension is, right? Two dimensions is being able to go back and forth, side to side, back and forth. Same thing, side to side, back and forth. So, what are examples of one-dimensional or two-dimensional beings? Germs, bacteria, cells. I feel like stuff like that, you could say those are one-dimensional. Two-dimensional are like bugs who can't climb. So I was thinking of something like an ant, but an ant can climb up, so that kind of, you know. But the example that I'm gonna use in a few minutes uses an ant, so I'm just gonna say bugs. Bugs that, you know, you can see them, but most of the time they're on level ground, walking around type shit. Yeah, alright. What is a third dimensional creature, right? Well, or what is 3 dimensions? It's when you can go side to side, back and forth, and up and down. Ooh, up and down, right? Oh, so that's what makes a 3-dimensional object. That's what makes a 2-dimensional object a 3-dimensional object, because 2-dimensional, it'll be flat, like a square. It's flat, and it goes this way and that way, this, that, and the third, but it's flat. Once you add that 3rd dimension, it's no longer flat, right? So what are 3-dimensional beings? Oh, animals like monkeys, donkeys, horses, humans, like us. But now, let me tell you the difference between us and animals, right? We're 3-dimensional. Our body is in a 3-dimensional plane. Earth is a 3-dimensional world. But our minds, some humans, like top of the line, like monks and Buddhists and like motherfuckers who sit in the mountain all day doing this. Some niggas like that operate in like 5, 6, sometimes 7 dimensions, right? But most humans operate in the 4th dimension. And so how it was explained to me was just how I used the example of going back and forth, side to side, up and down, right? When you add the 4th dimension onto that, it moves, right? So yes, you going side to side, up and down, back and forth, right? But as you're doing that, so say it's a box and it's doing is side to side, up and down, side to side, whatever. But it's moving. You can think of it like our life. Like we're living day by day. Obviously, we move, like three-dimensional animals move, but in the concept of a fourth dimension, it's moving through time. So fourth dimension is time, right? So, what are the higher dimensions, right? If time is what causes us to be in the fourth dimension and us having a concept and grasp of things like time, what's the fifth dimension? Now, scientifically, fifth dimension is very hard to explain. If you do research, you will hear a lot of different conflicting theories for the fifth dimension, because the first four dimensions we pretty much know for a fact that they exist because we're living in them. But the fifth dimension is hard for us to have a concept or grasp what that is. The best thing I could say the fifth dimension is like gravity, or just like stuff that, or like math, or just like stuff that we understand it, but I don't know. Honestly, I'm not the science guy, even though I'm talking about science, but like I said, spirituality and science go hand in hand. Whatever. The spiritual meaning of the fifth dimension is like love, unconditional love and understanding and all that, right? So, which all the different dimensions do have a spiritual meaning, and I'm not going to get into that because the video will be forever long. So really, I brought up the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 9. Some people think it's more than 9. I feel like it caps off at 9, but hey, Rich, like y'all, all of these are theories, these are think pieces, these are conversations. Like, don't take anything I say for face value. Don't believe a word I say. Look it up, because I'm quite literally spitting off the top of my head cannon. Like a lot of this information that I'm telling to you is shit that I learned like 3-4 years ago. So please fact check, because this is a conversation. This is something to make you think, right? So all these different dimensions have beings in them, right? Third, second, first, fourth, right? What beings inhabit the fifth, and the sixth, and the seventh? Because it just caps off at 3, but we're in a 3D world, but the reason why humans are special is because we operate in a 4D. So you could call us 4-dimensional beings, but technically we're 3rd-dimensional beings. But you have to sit there and realize, once you come to all of these realizations and all these thoughts and all this hootenanny, you'd be like, oh, the angels, the demons, the spirits, the ghosts, the aliens, whoever you want to call them, operate in these 5th, 6th, 7th dimensions. Because when you really look it up and just like research, you realize we don't know what again, this is theory, this is theoretical. Just how you can't fully prove the existence of an alien or an angel or a spirit or a ghost, you can't fully prove the existence of a 5th dimension, of a 6th dimension, of a 7th dimension. So let's say all of this is facts, that's completely 100% true, and they are observing us. right? Think about how we observe two-dimensional beings, like an ant, like a bacteria, like a spider, this, that, and the third, right? When you put that into perspective, put also into perspective how there are beings who are operating in different dimensions than you, right? So how do you think they perceive us? Do you think they perceive us like small ants? Possibly. It would make sense as far as like esoteric and biblical stories of angels breeding with humans and creating giants. Maybe those angels are fucking giant. But hey, my point is, just how you perceive that ant on the ground, that's how those higher entities perceive us, per se. Now let's take it a step farther. Let's put you and an ant on a mile. Y'all both have to walk in a straight line for a mile, right? You gonna bust that mile out like in a few minutes. You busting that hoe out. That ant, you could run that mile 6 times, and that ant would probably be like 34 inches, like from his starting point. Like, and granted, some bugs are quicker than others, but let's just say it's a slow ass, little ass bug. Let's stop saying ants, because ants are pretty quick. Say it's a small ass, slow ass bug, right? By the time you run that lap, you can go back and pretty much look at this little ant's progress. And because that shit was only a few minutes ago, you already remember where that ant was at. And you can even go step back and, you know, be where the motherfucking bug was at. But then also, you can see ahead and see, oh, it's a crack right there. Oh, it's a little pothole right there. He gonna have to get through. Oh, it's some water right there. He gonna have to walk around. Are you getting what I'm laying down? Are you eating what I'm cooking? Those higher dimensional beings view us in the same way. In a sense, I'm gonna get to that. Just how you can see that ant's whole path and know exactly where it's going, these higher dimensional beings can do the same thing. But instead of it just being because we have human brains, so our concept of seeing this ant walk a linear path, we can only, since we are 4-dimensional beings in our mindset, we can see the ant's future, but we can't see the ant in the future, if that makes sense. So I can see that this motherfucker gonna have to go around this puddle, but I have to sit here and wait for that ant to get through that puddle. Those higher dimensional beings that aren't limited by time, they can be here, they can be there. They can see you when you graduated middle school in real time, nigga. They can go into the future and see you at your funeral in real time, nigga. Like in real time. So when you put all of this into perspective, think about, let's go back to the creator, to God, or the one, or everything, the source, whatever you want to call it. If you think those 5th dimensional beings can do this, that, and the third, what do you think he can do? Now, let's dig even deeper. Now that I didn't prove to you that time doesn't necessarily move in a linear path, because if it necessarily moved in a linear path, then these higher dimensional beings would be stuck on the same linear path. But I told you, they're not stuck on the same linear path. They can go here, they can go there, they can go all around, they could go into different, because let's not talk about the different realities and multiverses and shit. Anyways, we're not even finna get into that right now, because that's a whole nother thing. But you will start to realize history repeats itself. Why does history repeat itself? What goes around comes around. So, this painting I created in like less than an hour. It's called Beginning of Time. And I feel like this is a perfect representation of what this video is going to turn into. Because this whole time I've been talking about time. But that's not even the point of this video. That's not even the thesis. That's not even the main argument. The argument is oneness. The argument is the circle. Time moves in a circle. You don't move in a line. It moves in a circle. And like I said, y'all, this is theory. This is strictly headcanon, strictly off the top of my head. I could be speaking nonsense. But just hear me out. Before we got here, and when you die, you're a soul, right? This human body that we're in right now is a temporary experience. Most people's souls are very old. We hear it all the time. Oh, he got an old soul. Yes, he does. Reincarnation is a real thing. People die and come back. If you don't believe in that, then go ahead and click off the video, because then none of this is literally, if you don't believe in reincarnation, nothing I'm finna say is valid. Before you got here, before you got into this body, I believe that we already knew exactly what was going to happen. Like, we are, have you ever heard that everything happens for a reason and nothing is by mistake? That's how life is. That's how we go through life every day. Like, nothing that we do in life is by mistake. Even how many times you try to convince yourself that it was a mistake. Oh, I fucked up. Oh, this, that, and the third. It was on purpose, consciously or subconsciously, or both. Because we all have a certain path that we're going towards. We all pretty much, our destiny is already written in stone, right? Your birthday and your death date are two very significant days, because it's the day your soul came into the body and your soul is exiting the body. Before your soul gets into this body, it already knows its death day. It already knows how life is finna plan out. You ever been in like a situation and like you have a full bodily reaction, like are buzzing, you getting goosebumps? It is like, you know, some shit off. Think about the times that you have felt that way. Think about the times you just felt like your adrenaline rose, like going left, right?
I basically explained deja vu in a long, drawn-out way, so we can skip this.
Time moves in a circle, right? That's how I believe. Because you start at one point. You start at two different points. You start at your death date. You start at your birth date and your death date. And this is only going to make sense if you believe in reincarnation, by the way. So look up reincarnation. It's a real thing. Anyways, you start with your birth date. But remember, your soul already knows your death date, right? So your birthday, you go through life, you go to high school, nigga, you go to college, you get a job, you stuck at that job for 40 years, you get a pension, you go on vacation, and then you have a heart attack on vacation because you saw some titties. Boom, now you dead. But look, you reincarnate in a whole other body. Now you're black now. Oh my God. Now you're black. Now you go to jail. Now you boom. Anyway, like it goes in a circle. You always come back. It comes back full circle every time, right? So when I got to that thought, I'm like, damn. So everything comes full circle. That's why history repeats itself. Because let's face it, we're a bunch of souls that keep coming back. Motherfuckers who, we're in different lives, we're in different situations. We have no concept and no idea of our previous life or our future lives. But our soul has a certain purpose and destiny. And I feel like you probably reincarnate as similar motherfuckers. You probably end up doing the same shit. Like, who's to say Alexander the Great didn't become Hitler? Like, what the hell? Like, who's to say? So it got me thinking, like, okay, circles. It comes back full circle. Circle. Hold up. What's the shape of your soul? I would think it's like a ball of light. A ball. A ball. A circle. Okay. What's the shape of the source of oneness? Hell, what is a way that shit, like in kindergarten and shit, that they would represent the number one or get us to learn how to count? Circle. One circle is one. Oneness. Oneness, one circle. Okay, but what if I want to turn that oneness into two? Okay, cut the circle in half. Okay. So now you have two halves of the same whole. One to the left, one to the right. One is man, one is woman. One is the moon, one is the sun. One is bad, one is one is evil, one is good. One is black, one is white. One is yin, one is yang. What's the symbol for yin yang? It's a circle split in half. Duality. Duality is a strong principle. It pretty much dictates everything in the world. Everything has its opposite. What man is to woman is what wood is to stone, is what water is to fire, is what light is to dark. Like, I could keep going. What iPhone is to Android. Like, I could keep going. Everything has its opposite. So when you keep breaking up these different opposites and put them all into one reality, if you make a circle of all this and you everything that's opposite, you keep making a line, your ass gonna come up with a damn fractal. You're gonna come up with a fractal with a geometric shape, sacred geometry, and you're gonna create life. You're gonna create dimensions. Do you think that's what the so-called oneness did? Constantly break itself up until it came here, until it's here now at this moment. But what is here now at this moment when I know tomorrow is coming? Duality teaches us that two halves always come together and make a whole. That's why the Holy Trinity is so special. Because when those two halves create a whole, they create another whole. The Mother, the Father, the Son. The Holy Trinity that they taught y'all about was wrong. Saying the Father and the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is woman. Stop doing that to ladies. But yeah. And that's how life started. It started with oneness, and that oneness split itself up into the Mother and the Father. Took that Mother and the Father and created the Son. You keep doing that process, you create the earth. You keep doing that process, you create animals. You keep doing that process, you create humans. You keep doing that process, you create technology and AI and Elon Musk. But when you peel all those layers back, you come back to one. So I started this video talking about time and dimensions because I had to get your brain prepped and primed to realize, okay, we are living in different dimensions, but these dimensions are different dimensions of one whole dimension. Different fractals, different pieces, different beams of light off of one light, off of one. So what does that mean? If I cut a pizza into 1,000 pieces, is this 956th piece of pizza still a fucking pizza? Fragments of that light. We are all pieces of that light. These AirPods are pieces of that light. My motherfucking car keys, this bracelet, these rings, this shirt, this necklace, everything. Everything are all pieces of this light, of this one, of this whole, of this circle. And that's why I believe time moves in a circle. Because time, only reason time exists is because the oneness exists. And the oneness is the circle. Because once you split that circle into a million different pieces, what do you create? You create life. You create this. You create this whole experience. I appreciate y'all for sitting here listen to me talk about this. Like I said, this video is based solely in the spirit. Science is also taken into account. I said that I was going to talk about quantum physics. I mean, I talked about physics as far as the dimensions goes. I didn't really get into the quantum level. I did get into the quantum level. I just didn't specifically say it. The oneness is the quantum physics. Like, that's when you break down all. I'm gonna leave y'all. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave y'all with this note. You have a human, right? And in our body, we have organs, right? And in those organs, there are veins. And in these veins, there are cells. And in these cells, there are organelles. And in these cells, there are atoms. And in these atoms, there are electrons, neutrons, and protons. And in those electrons, neutrons, and protons, you get the shit like quarks and neutrons and hadrons and shit like that. Right, okay, whatever. Okay, break it down smaller than that. What do you have? You have something. So, thank y'all, and good night.